Okay. So people want to know how to develop their gifts, talents, whatever the term might be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as we know, people find it fascinating when all of a sudden they feel better, when they contact us and work is done and their lives improve somehow. Because that's the way I'm talking about from their viewpoint, right?
Okay.
They can't explain what has happened. As long as they realize that it's God doing the work, we say God. Somebody might say
Source, the higher power, anything else to describe God.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Supreme being.
Mm-hmm. They're all the same thing.
I know it might not be describing God because they don't believe in God.
Oh.
They just believe in something else. But whatever that term is, that's fine. Anyway, people have requested for help, if we can help them develop their talents. Now I know we had a video, we recorded a video earlier with something similar to that, I think. Did we?
Well, yes.
Something similar, okay. But so with this one, what I want people to, I'd like you to share with individuals what your journey is like, right? You received some training, you're under training, you're doing we have to do some things, and then we stopped because I feel that you're being self-conscious and we have to figure out how we get you to that other level. But in the meantime, you've experienced a lot. So how about if you share some of those things with your audience?
Okay. Do you have anything that you want me to bring up first?
Well, you could start with, no, it's not what I want, but if you're asking for suggestions, for example, a while back you started with transmuting things while you're cooking.
Oh, yes.
Right? Which I thought was a really good idea.
I used my family as guinea pigs, if you will, to see if what I was doing was working. So I would be cooking food, and I knew sometimes that because of what I had available, there might be a chemical or something there that would cause possible allergy reaction in my husband or kids.
What do you mean, what do you have available? That's
Well,
all you had, like
without-
you couldn't afford something else, or what?
No, I could afford something else. It's just crunch time, and I've got to get dinner cooked, go pick up the kids, and take care of things. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to go run to the store to buy something else.
Well, why did you have the other things in the first place in the house? The ones that you say has the chemicals and things like that.
Well, because people gift things to us.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering where it came from. Okay, got it.
Right. Because, well, individuals give us things, and, we're grateful for them. So I use them. And a lot of times I'll just ask my husband to do the transmuting of the whatever might be in the food product. But there are many times when I try things on my own. And then I'll sit there at the dinner table and I'll watch my husband to see if he has any kind of reaction. And he'll stop and he'll look at me and he'll say, "What? What's the matter?" And I'll tell him what I did while I was cooking, and he'll be like, "Oh." But he didn't have a reaction, so it worked. So that's something I try, I practice.
So where did you get that idea from?
What idea?
To transmute the food?
You suggested it.
Huh?
Yes, because that's kind of the work that you do. And you suggested it, and we talked about how it's possible that that's what Jesus did when it came to drinking of wine and eating foods that were outside of his custom and culture to eat and everything, that he must have probably transmuted them. And I thought, oh, what a novel idea. I could start doing that.
So I did not suggest that. You got that from the conversation we had.
Right, but you'd also transmuted food before.
But I didn't suggest it. I know you never suggested that. That's
Okay.
what?
Well,
You came up with that. And that was a really good idea, right? That was very good.
Experiment.
And speaking of that, think about it. Like when Jesus was eating these, he ate with the Gentiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eating foods that supposedly he's not supposed to eat.
right.
He transmuted that sucker.
That's what I figured.
He had to transmute it. Or when the wine, when he turned the water into wine,
Mm-hmm.
he transmuted. He's not going to give these folks things that he knows they're not supposed to have. But they don't think about that. They enjoyed it. They had the taste of the wine, but probably no alcohol.
No alcohol entity near anywhere.
He wouldn't do that, Why invite entities, right? So That was very good. But what we had the latest one where, and this is just an experiment because you're picky about the food that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember we went to the store, and they just had these big shrimp there, but they have, what do they have that you don't like?
Sodium tripolyphosphate,
Okay. What,
STPP.
what's the story with that now?
It's a neurotoxin,
Oh.
and it damages the nerves and kills some of the brain cells.
Well, supposedly.
Supposedly, from what I read on the internet.
You know what happens on the internet.
But my family does have a reaction to it. Headaches and scratching and
Right.
all kinds of things.
So anyway, I went to the store and I said, hey, do you want to practice with this? And we do that kind of stuff.
We
just,
do.
okay, let's just practice. And so we bought 4 pounds of that sucker. Was it 4 pounds? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Right, they were
big
2 pound
right,
bags,
right.
two big 2 pound bags, right.
But they were huge. They were the big ones that normally we
jumbo
buy.
shrimp.
Right. And transmuted those, brought them home, and the guys ate them.
Right? Everybody was
seemed
fine.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that one, folks, is that the first day that the shrimps were going to be used, you had me transmute them instead of you. And you were supposed to be the
Well,
one
I
doing
wasn't
it.
the one cooking. Our boys were cooking. That's why I asked you to
that's
do
right,
it.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
Because I didn't want them to say, Mom, why are you standing over us? You know, why are you watching us cook? We can do this.
Well, you could do it from the room. That's where I did
Well,
it
I didn't
from.
think
I didn't
about
do,
it.
I didn't do it in the kitchen.
I didn't think about it because
Remember, folks, that you know God is everywhere, so you don't have to be there. It's just like when we do work on you guys.
It's
we don't know where
remote.
You guys are, right?
you don't have to come to us. We're not going to you. We never have to meet.
So remember that for the next time.
Yes.
You're standing over the shrimp in the kitchen. Unnecessary. So remember that, okay?
Because it's easier when I'm cooking and I could just say stuff while I'm mixing and cleaning. And
Now, to me, the next one was the one that we had a lot of fun with. We're still having fun with this one. Is where, for example, all of a sudden you'll do something, and then let's say, for example, I'll go out there and say, "Hey, do you want? I'm thinking about cooking this for you," and then I'll say, "Oh wow, where do you get that from?" And they say, "Oh, I just thought about it," and then I said, "Very good."
oh, okay. You're talking about how you're sending me messages and I'm
Exactly.
picking up on them
Uh-huh.
before you actually come and verbally tell me.
That's correct.
Yes. And then there are many
Yeah, tell me
times
about it.
where my husband and I will be talking, and I will be in the middle of a thought, and then he'll be answering me, and I'll be like, "What? Where did that come from?" He's like, "Your question. I'm answering your question." I didn't even get to a question yet. I'm still telling you the story. But he already knows and hears the questions when we're talking sometimes. Or he'll finish my sentence for me. He's like, "Yeah, I know. So it's fun.
Well, but that's not the fun part because we know I can do that. But it's
when
more
I
fun.
pick up on
exactly,
it.
Exactly, right?
Even with the kids, sometimes I pick up on it. They come into the kitchen and they start talking, and then they're standing there thinking, and they're trying to come up with the word, and I'll come up with the word in the rest of the sentence for them. And they're like, "Yeah, that's what I want to say." So it happens.
Oh, that's amazing. People do that all the time, don't they?
I don't know.
I think people do it
I
all the
never
time.
used to do that.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay, so I
really.
guess that is amazing.
Just because you were doing it your whole life does not mean everybody does it.
No, that's not it. I thought that people just did that. Okay. But again, I was telling Champ, our son did today, when we were watching the soccer game, when you came into the room. And then I said, "I don't know what I want to eat." And you went, "What did you say?"
Right, I didn't hear you.
Right? And so after you left, Chan said, "You answered her question. You answered Mom's question before she asked." No, she already asked. I heard it. He said, "Oh, you mean like in the head?" I said, "Yes." Right? But again, that's not impressive. What's impressive is when I say, "Will you please make some tea for me? I'll bring it to the room." And next thing I know, you're bringing some tea. And you're like, "How do you know I want tea?" I already know. You're like, "I don't know. Just figured you want tea." Because you're picking up the message, you're getting it. When before that, you would not be able to do. You know, it's happened many times. And there are times when it's not even that. When I'll ask you, for example, I'll say, "Did you send a message out for the soccer kids?" He said, "Oh yes, I sent it out this morning. I sent another one this afternoon." So, wow. Because earlier in the day, I'd asked you to send it out, but I never verbalized it to you. But then you went ahead and did the exact same times that I asked you to do it. without
Okay.
saying it. So that's also pretty good. You know? So what else do we have? Because the other thing, oh, then you have the,
When we go shopping.
okay. What about when we go shopping?
Now, for instance, our kids, they enjoy particular kinds of bread. Very
Okay,
specific.
Right.
So
And they're not always at the store.
they're not. So we'll be driving, going from place to place, picking things up for the house, and I'll say, you know what, we should get bread. And my husband will say, oh, all right, go ahead and head over there and see if it's there. So I will visualize the store, visualize myself going into the store, walking through, going to where the bread is. And I think I'll see it on the shelf. I say, well, I think they have it. And when we go check, sure enough, it's there. So that's fun. It's getting better.
Yeah.
Visualizing and projecting myself out there so I can see what's there, what's around.
Now, the last time we went to the store, I remember you saying, this is not what I saw. And the bread wasn't there. You said, this is not what I
That's
saw.
not what I saw.
So what happened there, you think?
I think that day I had some attachments or possessions, or or I was not grounded for the day because I didn't do my meditation in the morning. I don't know. Something was off.
It was funny when you said, this is not what I saw. It was hilarious. Wasn't that the same day also when you said you want to buy pasta sauce? And you're particular, it's not any kind of pasta sauce, but
Right.
but you want to buy it because you want to cook a certain dinner for
I
the
wanted
guys.
to cook stuffed peppers for dinner, and I required the tomato sauce for it. And I was doing my best to look at the house and see if we had any in the house. And I finally just said, honey, will you just project to the house and tell me if we have any tomato
No,
sauce?
that's not what you said.
What did I say?
You said, Ann, do we have any tomato sauce? And I said, why would you ask me that question? How would I know that? That's what happened. And he looked at me all surprised. Like, I don't know what she's thinking, but I don't track these things. I don't cook, you know? And that's when they told me, will you just project over there and see?
Right, just project and see.
Now, what happened with that one? See, I thought that was interesting.
Because you said you saw tomato sauce and something with cheese.
No, with cheese. I saw tomato sauce with cheese.
Tomato sauce with cheese.
And that's when I asked you, do you ever buy tomato sauce with cheese in it?
And I said, no, I haven't. I haven't been buying that at all.
And I told, well, that's what I see. I see a jar of tomato sauce with cheese, right?
So because of that, I didn't trust it because I know I hadn't bought any tomato sauce with cheese. So I went and I made sure to buy a container of sauce to take home. And when we got home, I looked exactly where my husband said he thought he saw it, and there was a jar of sauce, regular sauce, no cheese in it. But it was right next to a red jar of Parmesan cheese. So I think he may have
Crossed it.
crossed it somehow.
So, but that happened because I couldn't focus when you have a sexy lady standing beside
It's more so when you're driving and your wife says, hey, focus on the road, but also project home.
you. As in, you can't concentrate. Right? Too much chemistry there. So,
Too many cars on the road is more like it.
all right, but the important thing is that you're practicing. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that we've had many instances where I said, okay, you want to try to work on some clearings? What happens with that one?
I'm told no, that I'm not ready for it. I might be too close to the individual, or I don't remember some of the
But
crazy things that I've gotten.
If you
But
don't
it all
mind,
goes back to me.
If you could share and this is just a tiny glimpse of what it's like, the work that we do, right? So if you just let them know, without a lot of details, just that one step. What's the first step that you have to do before you even start to check for any clearing, or whether or not you're gonna do any clearings? What's the first step?
Well, I have to focus, do
Well-
some deep breathing.
Well, no,
And,
besides that. So
Okay.
you've done that.
okay.
And then what's next? How do you know you're not ready?
Well, I asked the question if I am ready and prepared
Who do you ask?
to be able to help my
Who-
mighty
who
I
are
am
you
presence, my higher self, the ascended
Not me,
masters. Right, not you, and my
The
spirit
spirit
guides,
guides,
teachers,
exactly.
guardian angels, if I'm ready to assist them in clearing, healing, and dowsing of any kind, any work. Whatever it is that I'm trying. And then I usually get a no answer.
Have you ever gotten a yes?
I have.
Oh, okay.
I used to get yes answers. And then you would check
what
them,
happened?
and they'd be completely wrong. And then we found out it was because I had some pseudo spirit guides.
Then how do we know what made me question it in the first place? If you're already given a yes.
Because you would tell me, no, that's not right. That's not what I'm getting.
Oh, you mean
And
you
then
tell
you'd go back and check what I did.
Oh, got it. Okay. Huh. Well,
But and right now, the main thing is that is building my confidence is what I was told. I have to build my confidence and just keep practicing. So that's what I'm doing.
because the point is people think that it's a simple thing, right? Like, oh, okay, I'll just go and start doing some healing or start clearing
Right,
people.
right, yeah.
And they don't understand that there's more to it than that.
You have to be ready mentally,
Exactly.
emotionally, spiritually
Right.
ready.
And your guides will tell you that. You know, you have to get permission. They'll tell you, no, you're not ready yet. And they'll tell you why.
Right.
Also, because they always tell you why.
Right.
So it's not they say, no, you're not ready. They literally tell you why you're not ready. So you have that communication. You have that link there. It's just that you're holding yourself back because
Right.
maybe you're afraid. We've talked about that.
Uh-huh.
The confidence, Catholic faith about, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this because I'll go to you know where. All these different things.
See, but that's when I'm conscious and awake and trying to do it. But I've had times where I've gone to sleep and I've asked questions and then I get guidance in my dreams and I'll wake up and I'll tell my husband about it and he's like, yes, very good, you picked up on that and that's it. That is exactly what your dream means and that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So
So
That's
why
fun.
do you think it works then when you're sleeping?
because I'm relaxed.
Exactly.
I'm completely at ease.
Your brain is not.
I'm not
racing all
overthinking
over the
anything.
place.
My ego
Exactly.
is not stepping in and saying, hey.
That's correct. See, and we're sharing all this so people know they can try it. Now, we don't suggest you go try it on your own like that. You need some. You have to protect yourself.
Right.
Because if you don't
have to
protect yourself, you can talk
Yeah,
about
if you
that.
don't protect yourself, like I thought I protected myself, but when I went and just decided to do a meditation that I thought sounded really cool, ended up with a whole bunch of possessions and attachments. My husband was like, what on earth are you doing? So I told him, he's like, don't do that. If you weren't told to do it, don't do that. So I don't do it.
So and then you thought you were protected.
I did.
So it's not that you go and protect yourself and think that you're protected. You can think that you are,
Right,
but that doesn't mean that you are.
right.
That's the other thing, right? People say, well, I say a protection prayer, I do this. That's nice.
It doesn't mean it's
But what-
there.
Exactly. All right? So there's more to this than meets the eye. And I know there are things on YouTube and the internet where they say, oh, just do this and imagine this light and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that simple. It's not complicated either.
Right, it's
So
not.
we don't want to give the impression that it's complicated.
Like for me, a lot of times I get an intuition. They call it knowing, and I just all of a sudden get a flash of a thought in my head, and I'd be like, okay, well, I should say this or I should do that. For instance, my husband and I went to a store, and as we entered the store, the cashiers are on the left-hand side of us, and there was a woman on the floor. It looked like she was having seizure or something, and
She was having a seizure.
she was having a seizure, and the cashier was there trying to help the woman up, but as if the woman was stuck to the ground, and as we walked past, immediately I just thought, call Shiva. So I did. I started saying Shiva, 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 and by the time I got to saying Shiva's name the third time, the woman stopped moving. She sat up and she was asking what happened. And so I turned to my husband and I told him everything that just took place. And he's like, wow, what made you think of doing that? I said, well, it was just a thought. It was just something that came to me, so I did it. And, to me, that's a sign that the woman had, something attacking her right there in the store, daylight. But, yeah,
Yeah, they don't wait till nighttime to attack you.
they don't.
Then they don't attack you really. They just attach themselves to you.
Right, and they try to control you or
Right, so-
influence you.
So let's remove that word attack.
Okay.
People in the movies and things that's what they portray, but that's not really how it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the same frequency as the entity, so they attach to you.
Right.
So,
That's when you call someone like Shiva, the destroyer. Comes real quick. All that
now,
stuff is out.
why do you call him?
Because he acts very quickly. He's there immediately and takes care of things.
Shiva is what you might call a Hindu god, right?
Right.
And then,
Well, he doesn't discriminate just because I'm Catholic,
but then one of the commandments says,
Thou shalt not have other gods.
Uh-huh.
Yes, okay, so if we're to translate what Shiva is in the Hindu faith to Catholicism, Shiva would be a saint.
So he's not really like the big
He's
God,
not a
right?
God,
Exactly.
but he is the same line as a saint
Okay.
in the Catholic faith.
That's very important to explain, I think, to clarify.
Yes.
You know? Now, what other experiences? Healing.
Yes, I continue to work on healing. There was, when I first started, I had gotten a cut from cooking. I'm always in the kitchen cooking. And
I'm getting cuts.
Yeah, you're getting cuts. No, not as many cuts. Now it's more burns and cuts, thank God.
Oh,
But
okay.
even those are getting less. So I went into get some medicine and bandage to put on my finger, and I said, no, let me see if I could just heal this on my own. So I did some focusing, and I tried a couple techniques that my husband had talked about. I just kind of fused those two techniques together. And sure enough, it stopped bleeding, and it looked like the skin had sealed. And it was fine. But I went to sleep that night, and the next morning I woke up and it had broken open and it was bleeding again. I'm like, what in the world happened? Well, turns out, I had gotten a possession or attachment from talking to someone, so my husband had to do clearing work and then I had to try it again. It happens. But at least I saw that it works.
Exactly.
And even today, I was telling my husband, I got a mosquito must have, been loving me while I was cooking dinner, because I got a bite here, on my arm here, over here, I got it on my cheek here, and this little mosquito. And the spots were itching and they were starting to swell, really big red, I don't even see it anymore. Oh, anyway, really big red welts is what they normally turn into. So I decided to just do a quick transmutation of the frequency and neutralize the effect, and they stopped itching, and honestly, I don't even see them now. That's awesome.
So it worked.
It worked.
Okay. I see a little red spot on your neck. You got your throat.
Oh,
there.
this one here? Oh, I might have forgotten about this one.
Okay. So we want to share this with everybody to get them to understand that, yes, you do have the abilities, as in everybody has the ability. It simply takes practice and the proper help or guidance. And as long as we're helping somebody, we will guide them. They'll get to the point where we'll encourage them to start doing this work for themselves.
Yes.
Because the more of us that exist, the more people that can get help. Make sense?
And we
So-
all have these abilities.
Yes.
So you don't have to try and figure out if you're a medium or a psychic or a palm reader. It doesn't matter. We can do all these things.
No, it does matter. Don't put a label on yourself.
Yeah, don't put a label on yourself, because you can do
none of
all
those.
things.
You're none of those. You are a spiritual being made in the image of God. God is a creator. God does all these things. So because God can do all those things, He's our Father, we can also do these things. That's the point. Nobody calls God a psychic or a medium
Nope, nope.
or a palm reader or an astrologist.
Nope.
He's God. Nobody called Jesus a palm reader or this or that. Got it? So it's
No
the same thing
labels.
here. You don't put a label on yourself. We don't call ourselves psychics or mediums. All right? We simply are at a level where we can help individuals right now until they can help themselves. And that's it. And once they can help themselves, they'll go and help other people. And then we keep building an army of people that will help our brothers and sisters.
Okay. If this video has helped you, please feel free to share it. Remember to like and subscribe. You can find us at 190 Vision on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as our website.